Good evening, Sydney. On tonight's news bulletin, we have a special report from our neuroscience reporter on human intelligence.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here today to shed some light on such an important topic. Firstly, the functions and parameters of the human intelligence system are incredibly complex, and there is still a considerable amount of research needed to fully understand the brain's cognition abilities. We will start off with today, what is intelligence?
Intelligence is defined as the ability to acquire and use knowledge and skills. Intelligent behaviour is observed in humans, other animals, and recent studies have even suggested that plants are capable of some form of cognitive behaviour. However, this is disputed among most scientists. Our understanding of intelligence can be subdivided into numerous areas including visual, linguistic, logical, musical, kinesthetic, natural, inter and intrapersonal intelligence. All of these different types of human intelligence are performed by a combination of areas within the brain and highlight the interconnectedness of the human brain that provides higher order thinking and advanced intelligence. We now cross to our neuroanatomy expert who will provide us with some insight into the location and functions of major anatomical features within the brain and their importance to understanding human intelligence.
Here we have an entire diagram of the brain. The brain is made up of numerous parts that all work together as one complete unit and provide the foundation for human intelligence. The cerebellum is located at the posterior part of the brain, inferior to the occipital lobe, and is associated more with motor function and is less important to human intelligence than the cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain and is located from the frontal bone anteriorly to the occipital bone posteriorly. The cerebrum is split into four lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. All of these lobes provide different cognitive functions and operate an extensive network of neuronal connections. The frontal lobe is thought to be the most critical element in the brain for advanced intelligence and does functions such as speech and language production, personality formation, makes plans, and organizes. The parietal lobe is located posterior to the frontal lobe and the central sulcus and is a major sensory processing center of the brain, which provides a foundation for human spatial awareness, which facilitates in general kinesthetic intelligence that is displayed in humans. The temporal lobe is located anterior to the occipital lobe, posterior to the frontal lobe, and inferior to the lateral fissure. This lobe is important in intelligence functions including auditory and visual processing and plays a role in precise long-term memory development. The final lobe of the cerebellum is the occipital lobe, which is located posterior to the parietal and temporal lobes and superior to the cerebrum. The occipital lobe contains the primary visual cortex, which is responsible for visual perception, including form and motion, which makes it a very important center for human cognition and intelligence.
Wow, thanks for that insight into the anatomy of the human brain. We now cross to the Chief Research Officer to give us a bit of insight into what factors affect the general intelligence of human beings. Hello, my name is Dr. Brains, and I'm the Chief Research Officer. Firstly, the factors in the brain that influence human intelligence can be split into three main categories, including dimensions of certain brain tissues, efficiency of neural pathways, and other processes such as blood flow and chemical activity in the brain. Overall brain volume has been used in comparative neuroscience to find a positive correlation between brain size and intelligence. Historically, this was done post-mortem with scales and rulers. However, with the introduction of non-invasive, accurate imaging techniques such as magnetic resonance imaging, accurate readings of total brain volume have been gathered, and while a slight positive correlation has been found between overall brain size and intelligence, there is a much stronger correlation between intelligence and the increased size of certain lobes, including the frontal, temporal, and parietal lobes. Further, there is a positive association between intelligence and having an increased grey matter volume and cortical thickness. The cerebral cortex and grey matter are responsible for many of the brain's functions, therefore an increase in the volume of these areas would clearly account for an increase in intelligent behaviour. However, studies involving grey matter and the cerebral cortex highlight that these areas are limited by the efficiency of neural pathways. The brain's communication networks play a vital role in the formation and expression of human intelligence. As we can see from the image, the white matter in the brain is comprised of neurons with myelinated axons, which assist in quicker action potentials and more efficient neuronal connections. The white matter pathways provide fast connections to the grey matter processing centres of the brain, and there is an established positive association between intelligence and the integrity of the white matter tract. Finally, the study of cerebral blood flow around the brain supports a new area of research regarding human intelligence called the parietal frontal integration theory, which outlines that human intelligence is related to the integration of certain brain regions rather than the size of these regions. There is an established link between strong cerebral blood flow through the cingulate cortex, orbitofrontal, and superior temporal regions of the brain, and with humans displaying a higher level of intelligence. Human intelligence research is an extremely difficult area to study due to the requirement of non-invasive brain research methods and the many unknown biological processes that already occur within the human brain. Finally, the parietal frontal integration theory is an interesting hypothesis that focuses on the integration of brain structures rather than their size, and this theory will play a huge role in future brain research regarding human intelligence.